Welcome to The Real with Joseph Lamtman. I am Joseph Lamtman. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of The Real. Taking time out of your day to come watch this episode. I really appreciate that. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe for me. I'd really appreciate that as well. That's the best way you can support this channel and help me grow my content and grow this channel to where I'd like it to be. Everybody hit the like button for me on the way in on this video today. That also helps promote this video more in the algorithms, helps grow this channel more as well. Please share this content. I would really appreciate that. My guests would as well. If you would please share this episode with someone you know that maybe is interested in the topic we're talking about today. Please leave a comment below as well. We'd love to hear your guys' feedback. You can interact with myself and the guest on the panel and the live chat as well. Whatever we're talking about, just leave a comment there in the live chat. Pop in and say hello. We'll put it on the screen for you. And yeah, without further ado, let's get to the show. Welcome back to The Real with Joseph Lamtman. I am Joseph Lamtman. Happy Sunday evening to you guys. Hope you guys are having a great day. If you're new here, please like, subscribe, and share. Like I said, I'd really appreciate that. And yeah, let's get into tonight's show. So taking a break from sports tonight. Not a lot going on in the Browns world. I mean, I know they're in camp right now, but I'm not going to keep reiterating the same stuff over and over again. So we'll get back to that this week. Obviously, the first preseason games this Friday, so looking forward to that. But I want to get to tonight's show. Well, I saw this earlier this week. Shout out to Parent John. I said, "What's up, people? Good to see you, Parent John. Hope you're doing well, brother." Jason Whitlock from Fearless put out a take on Tom Brady, and I guess 2 weeks ago, Scottie Scheffler, the champion golfer. Everybody knows Scottie Scheffler, one of the best in the world. Some people say the best golfer in the world right now. He gave a take kind of reiterating that he chooses being a great dad over a great golfer first. And I thought Scottie gave a real humble response and, kind of was just down to earth and, says, golf's just a game. The other day, being a dad's more important. And Tom Brady, I guess, came out with a letter kind of in a way, going against kind of what Scottie Scheffler said in a way, kind of how you can be a great dad, but, how he kind of prioritized being a great football player first over a great dad. And I thought Jason here gave some interesting takes that I thought I immediately thought of Jersey because Jersey's obviously my dad. And so I want to get a father's opinion on this because I'm really interested by it. I thought this is an interesting topic and some interesting takes. And so I'll let the chat decide kind of where they see on this as well, especially the dads in the chat watching this on playback or live. So I'm gonna get right into it, but joining me now and to watch this, I only watched this live that day on Jason's show. So when I play it again today, it's kind of really my first time like really watching it. So I think this is the first time Jersey's even seen the letter and stuff. He heard about it. So we're gonna react to this live and in time with you guys. And so joining me now is always keep it real. And it's good. We're already fired up for this football season. Jersey's in the house. Welcome, Jersey.
Good evening, everyone. Just turned the light on.
Yeah.
I'll try not to, but
yeah, thank you. Jersey, I'm interested to see your reaction to this. I thought this was pretty interesting. So we'll get right into it. This is slightly sped up, so we don't not sitting here spending forever on it. But yeah, let's get into the first part here, Jersey. So this first part, I believe this is the Scottie Scheffler video that what kind of went viral, where he's talking about how he prioritizes his family over golf. And so here's that.
Playing a clip of Scottie Scheffler, his comments on faith and family. This is what Tom Brady is reacting to. Let's start with stock number 2.
I've worked since I was 2 or 3 years old to have a chance to play professional golf for a living. And now I've been able to win tournaments that I just dreamed of playing in. And it's an amazing feeling. And I'm so grateful to be able to live out my dreams. But, like I said, my faith in my family is what's most important to me. And I try to live as normal a life as possible because I feel like a normal guy. I have the same friends I had growing up. I don't think that I'm anything special just because, some weeks I'm better at shooting a lower score than other guys are.
All right. So that's Scottie Scheffler unpacking his thoughts about winning major championships and being the number one golfer. He's got a humble spirit to him. Scottie Scheffler clearly prioritizes faith, and he's searching for a deeper meaning in life because he's not finding it in golf. He's having success in golf. He enjoys playing golf, but hey, it's great winning these golf tournaments, winning these major championships, but he's reminding himself and the public of like, hey, man, this ain't really all that important. Well, Tom Brady has.
So I'm going to pause it right there, Jersey. Your initial reaction to what Scottie Scheffler had to say.
It's a breath of fresh air. It's somebody that actually has their priorities in order, because there's nothing more important than being a husband and a father. There's nothing more important, and there's no such thing as too much time with your family, and so it's a breath of fresh air to hear somebody that's on top of their game and is worldwide like that to say that, and it's great, and I hope he continues to stay that way.
So nothing there do you think should have any rebuttal to it?
No, it sounded like he was just answering a question. It didn't sound like he was referring to anyone else or taking an indirect jab at anybody. He just sounded like a guy that's a father and follows Christ is what he said. It's his faith, and he cherishes his wife and kids. That's all. It sounds like he was just pretty truthful.
Yeah, I thought it was a breath of fresh air to hear that actually get. I mean, I never really, you don't hear athletes talking like that nowadays.
No.
And saying, who cares if I, hit a 9-iron well, whatever. At least, what's more important to me is being just a normal guy around my friends. And I don't know, anybody could really disagree with that. I mean, here, and you wonder why the guy's successful, probably because his mindset is right with his soul. You know what I mean? So
right.
He's pretty well aligned. That's why he's probably able to sustain his success as well. But let's get to the next part here. I guess this is where the things got hot with Tom Brady. Parent John says, salute, Jersey.
Thanks, Parent John.
Tune In Sports. Good to see you, brother.
How are you?
Go subscribe to Tune In Sports. Best Cavs content creator out there. Wally's in the house, our 330 fan. What's up, Wally? Good to see you. But let's get to the next part here of the Tom Brady side of it.
As a newsletter that he sends out, I'm sure for a profit, and he's giving some advice to Scottie Scheffler and to men in general. And I want to read you some excerpts from the newsletter Tom Brady put out in regards to Scottie Scheffler and his struggle for a deeper meaning beyond golf. And so it's a long letter. Here's a few excerpts. Be patient with me. I want to unpack these. I want to be fair to Tom Brady. It's been more than a week since Scottie Scheffler won the Open at Royal Potrush, yet he is still doing interviews about an answer he gave during Media Day in response to this question. What would be the longest you've ever celebrated something? His answer was basically not very long. For Scottie, celebrations have been fleeting, in part because golf doesn't fulfill the deepest desires of his heart. The golf course, he said, is not where he goes to find satisfaction. So what's the point? That was the line that went most viral. When I heard this, some of it resonated with me because I had a similar experience around his age, but I also understood that what I was hearing was a young athlete trying to make sense of success without the benefit of the perspective that comes with years of experience. So this is Tom Brady setting himself up as an elder statesman. He's the elder statesman. He played 20 plus, decades or a couple of decades in the NFL, 20 plus years in the NFL. What did he win? 8 Super Bowls or 6 Super Bowls? I can't remember. Is it 6 or 8? I can't remember. He won a bunch of Super Bowls, more than anybody else. And he's considered the GOAT. And now he's this elder statesman that's going to pass on his wisdom to Scottie Scheffler. Well, he's actually an elder mis-statesman. He misses the mark badly here with the advice he's about to share with his audience and with Scottie Scheffler. I want to play the clip. Let's do this.
So he's going to play a clip here. I'm going to go back to this statement, though, Jersey, right there that he read. And you heard what he said there, and I'll put it full screen for you so you can see it again. But in this, though, he talks about, he said, one part that stood out to me was he said, the golf course, he said, is not where he goes to find satisfaction. And he put, so, quote, what's the point? That was the line that went most viral. When I heard some of this, some of it resonated with me because I had a similar experience around his age. But I also understood that what I was hearing was a young athlete trying to make sense of success without the benefit of the perspective that comes with years of experience. Your reaction to that?
It sounds to me like he's trying to find. It sounds like his conscience is being bothered. He's
Yeah.
trying to find some way to justify uh, not being home as much as he could have been home. May possibly, most likely, not doing everything he could to salvage his marriage, and basically not have his priorities in order.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what Jason was saying in this, that he feels like at times trying to justify a lot of his mishaps in his personal life, and that
Just,
he still is that guy now. Like he's still now. If you look at all he does now, he's not married anymore. His kids are his home is broken. He's uh out doing making millions and millions, making a huge contract covering football games. Now he's all in on that.
yeah.
He still seems like somebody who has that same mindset, and he's 40 something years old. You know, I agree with you. It seems like he's just trying to justify a lot of his wrongdoings, and I wonder if this is. It almost sounds like he's almost because everybody knows why Giselle left him. It was because I think ultimately she wanted him to retire early. He didn't want to, and she wanted him to make certain decisions more about family, and he chose football first. And she ended up leaving. Now, I think she also, if I'm not mistaken, had an affair with somebody, or with I don't know if an affair, but I think she was messing around with the guy she's with now, that Brazilian whatever guy
Yeah.
she's going to. I don't know, but I don't know. I agree. It seems like he's trying to justify all that, though. Almost like he's writing a letter to her in a way, like this is why I wasn't around, because I had to do this and I had to do that. It's just, as a father, what do you think of that?
Well, no, there's zero excuse. Here, it's just plain and simple. He chose his career. He chose his competitiveness. He put it before everything. He chose winning. He chose his what do you want to call it? What his
He chose his
he,
career first.
his career? Yeah, I mean, he chose all of that before his family. Now, I'm not saying um, here. It's one thing to do something when you're in your 20s, your 30s, but you get wiser as you get older. You're supposed to learn from your mistakes. And you're 40. He just turned 48, I think, Sunday, and he's still talking this stupid shit. He's still uh, trying to be more trying to compete with Scottie Scheffler, and manhood, what manhood is. You know what I mean? And so, and I don't think he's in any position. If manhood is being the best at what you did, your career, you're an idiot. You're wrong.
Mhm.
Um, because he's got, like you said, he's got a broken family. There's nothing to be proud about. And I'm a believer that it always takes two. You know what I mean? It just can't. You know, here sometimes some spouses step out on their marriage. Well, maybe sometimes if the other spouse was doing what they're supposed to do, that wouldn't happen. You know what I mean? I don't
Mhm.
know. It just takes two. So, um, but he just sounds like an idiot for doing this. And if you take somebody like, and I'm gonna go even outside of it just for a second. You take somebody like Michael Jordan. Yeah, the greatest athlete in modern day time, most competitive guy I've ever seen. But his personal life was not something to be. I'd never want to live that guy's personal life. I wouldn't be proud of it. You know what I mean? And
And he
I'm
even
not.
said that on the last. Remember that part when he was in the hotel room and he was like, "This isn't a life you want to envy."
No, and I'm not sitting there poking at these guys but here, when you make a commitment to get married, you make a
Mhm.
commitment to the Lord. You make a commitment to your family. There's nothing that comes before it. You know what I mean? There's nothing. And so, and by the time you get to your late 40s, you think you know better. You suffered a divorce. How many nights have you not seen your kids? You think you'd know better by then. So there's nothing. There's here. I've got to be around you guys more than he got to be around his family, right? but I wasn't. There was never enough. All those nights I wasn't home, and still when I get home late, or if I miss shit, guilt. It's guilt. It's guilt. But at the same time, though, I can tell you this: if I made that kind of money, or even a fraction of that kind of money, hell, my gosh, I mean, such a small fraction of it. I'd never miss anything. You know what I mean? How much do you need?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not home because I have to work. I have to. You know what I mean? So, Scottie Scheffler is here. That's a role model for young guys, young men. Here's one. Here, take care of your responsibility. Take care of your family, your obligations. But there's no, like I said, there's such a thing as too much time at work, but there's never too much time with your family. And I mean, the way we are in this society, we all work too much. We're all away from each other too much. You know, your situation 10 years ago when, you started to have the anxiety and the panic attacks started to happen. I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, I mean, there's so many blessings that came out of it. It slowed us down as a family. The industry I'm in, it's lots of hours, it's long hours. And, I was at a particular place where you basically put everything aside for it. And, and then Joy started the work. Julie went to school. Julia's playing multiple sports. Joseph's playing multiple sports. We were never around each other. We were so busy. We just lost track. And that was my fault and Joy's fault, but primarily my fault, not the kids' fault. But we were never sitting down, eating dinner together, praying together. Never. Just always on the run. And, and I'm guilty of putting my career first, and did I like? No, I didn't like it. And I sure as hell didn't brag about it. I hated every minute of it. I hated being there late. Absolutely hated it. And the guys I worked with hated it. But, we're just high wage earners. We weren't millionaires. We weren't chasing status. We weren't chasing accolades. We were chasing a living. And so it's just great to hear somebody like Scottie Scheffler, who's a multi-millionaire, and he's on top of his game. And he's saying, "Here, dude, my family comes first. I'll give all this shit up for my family." So that makes you wonder, like, what would a guy like with Tom Brady? Would he give up his career, all of his accolades, his reputation, his Super Bowls? Would he give it all up to have his family back? I'd love to ask that guy that. I would. After him writing that letter, if I had a chance to ask him one question, I would ask him that. If you could get your marriage back and had, and all the time back with your kids and your wife, would you give all this back? Would you give it all away? I'd love to see what the answer would be. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's what's wrong with society is, another thing that's wrong, I should say, is men need to have to get their gosh darn priorities straight. When you get married to a woman, your obligation is her and your kids, and you do whatever the hell it takes. That's my life. It's always been that, and I know you guys know that, and anyone who knows me knows that. That's all I live for. So I don't care about money. I truly hate money. It's something we have to live with, but here I can't stand it. I mean, we've been fortunate, but I really can't stand it. I'd love to get to a point where sometimes I admire people who just make just enough to survive, and they're happy. They're not a slave to the grind. You know what I mean? And their families are in order and they're just happy. I meet lots of people like that. And some of the most miserable people I've ever met are at the top of their game in their careers, and it's never enough. They have so much money, and it's just never enough. They have so much assets, it's never enough, but they're miserable. Their kids can't stand them. They already have broken relationships with their kids. And I'm not saying everybody's like that, because I know plenty of wealthy people who've done it the right way. They have their priorities in order. They didn't chase the bag. They chased the right things in life, and then the bag came with it. So, shame on it's a shame on Tom Brady in a sense of that's Scottie Scheffler's moment. He just wins that championship, and he just answers a question honestly. But for some reason, it hit a nerve with Tom Brady, and I understand why it hit a nerve. And then to come out and write a letter, and who the hell anointed him the pillar of fatherhood, and he's going to lecture this man. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, who the hell anointed Tom Brady that? Dude, your family's gone, dude. You stay in your lane. You know what I mean? Stay. What's that?
Well, I got more of the excerpts from it. You're on a roll right now. I love it. Dan said, "Keep preaching."
Dan's heard me many times.
Yeah. 2 Days Sports said Savannah ready for LeBron to hang it up. LOL. Yeah, that's what it's probably. Tom loved the game, and so I love your role. Stay there, because I got to take two. I've been writing down some. You made me think of some. I'm sharing a little bit, but here's the rest of the parts of Tom's letter that stood out from Jason.
Gave Scottie Scheffler. Let me continue. We all have different parts of our lives. You can think of them like a pyramid. At the top is yourself. Let me just stop right there. Do you get the disconnect? We all have different priorities in life. It's like a pyramid. At the top is yourself. Scottie Scheffler saying something completely different. I am not at the top of the food chain. The Most High God is. And then it's my wife and my kids. And this golf thing, while rewarding, while fun, it does take away from my relationship with God. I'm out here playing golf on a Sunday. On the Sabbath, I'm playing golf. He's struggling with that. They're running to, and so I don't have a problem with Tom Brady wanting to offer up his advice. Just offer it up like, hey, man, you're doing something completely different than Scottie Scheffler. Recognize that. Scottie Scheffler is not Scottie Scheffler's number one priority. He's in the hard, difficult pursuit of holiness. Let me continue. At the top is yourself and your physical, mental, and emotional health. Then there's the relationship with your significant other or partner. Then you have your children, then your work, then your extended family, your friends, your hobbies, and finally your greater community. Every layer of that pyramid is a priority. At any given moment, one of these priorities is taking precedent over the others. And the question is always whether it's the right priority for the moment. He's running a sprint. For the moment, Scottie Scheffler is running a marathon. That is back to Tom Brady. That is the question it seems Scottie Scheffler is wrestling with. Do I have my priorities straight? Tom Brady's offering solutions.
Okay, I just saw your face, Jersey. Go ahead.
Scottie Scheffler absolutely has it in order. Again, the proof's in the pudding. Look where Tom Brady's at. You know what I mean? He was married for a long time to that woman, and it's over with. You know what I mean? And his kids have to suffer through that. That's the most important thing. I don't give a shit what anybody says. Divorce is the absolute worst thing in this world. I've went through it, and that was when I was 19 years. I was 19 years old when it happened, and my parents were married 23 years. And even at 19 years old, to this day, I'm going to be 48 in a month. It's devastating, absolutely devastating. Destroyed. I mean, one half of my whole family that I grew up with, my aunts, I don't even see them. I haven't seen them in 30 years. And you guys know this. I've told you this, and you've seen what it's done to me. It's devastating. It's horrible. And no kid, no child should ever have to grow up choosing between their parents and bouncing from house to house, because the parents were absolute assholes and put themselves first. And that's right. Tom Brady, here, I'm just some dude from Ohio. but Tom Brady's an absolute asshole. He should be ashamed of himself to get out and just sit and basically condone and defend how he lived. Put himself at the top of the pyramid. You're an asshole, dude. You're the epitome of what's wrong. No one cares. The big deal. You got 7 Super Bowls. Ask your kids how they feel about that shit, asshole. It just pisses me off. You know what I mean? Because it kind of takes me back to what I went through, my brothers went through. It's terrible. And there's a lot of people watching it. They went through it too. And it's shameful. You know, I would have loved for Tom Brady to got on and just said, great job, Scottie Scheffler. You know, I chose a different path, and I'm proud of my path, of my accolades, but I wish I would have spent more time. You know what I mean? He should have commended him.
Yeah, or maybe like, hey, maybe these are ways you can, you know, one thing Tom is great at is taking care of his body. Like maybe, hey, maybe this is how you reduce injury, or take care of yourself and sustain. Like give good valid advice, not stuff like you're basically taking a dig at what he's saying.
Yeah, stay in your lane, dude.
Yeah,
stay in your lane. Talk about what allowed you to achieve what was the most important thing in your life, because obviously we know what it is. Talk about that. This guy it was his day. He won the championship. He was answering a question, and for some reason, this saint and Tom Brady, just this elite guy, he's just elite in his own mind, felt the need to just shit all over, think he was going to, Scottie Scheffler, and and lecture him publicly. Dude, what an idiot. How could you even, you have kids that bounce from house to house, and you think you can get out there and lecture somebody else who's sounds like his marriage is intact and his kids are happy. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. And you know the crazy thing is, I know this for certain. 99% of men in this country would disagree with Tom Brady. You know, all these guys that are out working their asses off, or guys that are deployed, or guys that wish they could see their kids, and just because there's a lot of cases where men are treated unequally by courts, and they don't get to see their kids,
or even guys at all.
Guys that are incarcerated. I don't really care. I don't care if you did something stupid, you got yourself jail time for a year, 2 years. It's still not good. You don't get to see your kids. It's just, you can't. There's no such thing as enough time. And I know kids, and obviously the school that you went to, K through 8, and all these children that mom works with every day, and I've been around some of them, kids that don't even know their parents, never met their parents, that their parents are doing life sentences. We know children who both parents have died. I mean, my gosh, there's nothing more important than fatherhood and motherhood, and kids being around that and needing. I mean, it's look around in society. Tom Brady's theory is a contributor to what the hell's going on in society. People are lost their minds. Kids are on all these antidepressant drugs, shooting each other. Tom Brady's philosophy is a driving force in that. He should be proud.
Dan said, I am probably one of the biggest Tom Brady fans you could ever encounter, as you know, but in life we often blend the necessary separation between the art and the artist. While being the greatest quarterback of all time and as almost flawless on the field as you can imagine, I will never trade his personal life or his relationship with God or his family for my own. On that scoreboard, I feel like I am winning, and it's something we truly forget about as we idolize these athletes and celebrities.
Well, Dan, and obviously, if anybody's watching us, Dan and I are very close. And, in the profession that we're in, we were side by side. I'd say it's almost like brothers in combat in a sense. Like, all the nights we were away from our we were together, working. And He's a tremendous father, tremendous husband, tremendous father. I've been with him all the way through, and he is the biggest Tom Brady fan. But Tom Brady has nothing on Dan a lot when it comes to fatherhood and being a husband and a mentor to lots of other guys. He's worked with younger guys. And you're right, Dan. You should never. That guy can keep all of his hundreds of millions of dollars because you'll be happy. You're already happier than he ever is. So, and I'm happier. And, I'm sure, and most men in this country are that prioritize their wife and their kids. So hopefully he gets it. Like I said, great competitor, obviously. I don't think I'm better than anybody at all. But I know this, and you're never going to take this from me. I know what the hell I get up for in the morning. I know what's the first thing I think about, and I know what's the last thing I think about when I go to bed. And so, there's nothing. It's what drives me, and you three are, this, and all three. My relationship with Christ is first and foremost, then you three, and it's not even close after that. That's what I live for. So, just good for Scottie Scheffler. I can't say it enough. I hope lots of young fathers or soon-to-be fathers see that and recognize that and say, "Hey, man, somebody that's at the top of what they do. It's this guy saying, man, it's first and foremost to be a husband and a father, then my profession." You know what I mean? It's just too many people put their profession first, and society suffers from it.
We'll play this next excerpt here.
Brady continues. As part of his answer at Media Day, for example, Scottie said he'd rather be a better father and husband than a good golfer. I want to stop there. That's just common sense. I'd rather be a better father and husband than a golfer, but that's common sense if your brain is wired properly. And I say this as an idiot who used to think the same kind of foolishness as Tom Brady. And then he says, back to Tom Brady, and my question is, why are those mutually exclusive? Sure, they're different blocks on the pyramid, but they're part of the same pyramid. They're connected. For instance, I think part of being a great father is being a great example of doing what it takes to take care of your family. Let me stop. How many millions of dollars, how many Super Bowls does it take to take care of your family, Tom? How many? He's rationalizing his own secular behavior. He's rationalizing the behavior that has him living in a different house than his wife and children. This letter, he's pretending like it's written to Scottie Scheffler. He's writing it to Giselle. Let me go back to Brady. I chose to do it by playing football. My dedication to the sport, the hours of practice, the moments when I was laser focused, those were times when I believe I was doing the best possible thing for my family and my kids by prioritizing my profession and teaching by example. Giselle, can you hear me? Giselle, kids, I know you hate daddy. I know daddy broke up the family because he wouldn't quit playing football. And yes, our mother is a whore who slept with her trainer. But damn it, I'm a kid. I blame both of you all. She wouldn't have been sleeping with her trainer or jiu-jitsu coach or whatever he was if you had come home and taken care of your main job, Tom. Let me go back. By example, what it takes to be really good at your job, what it takes to follow through on commitments. How about your commitment, the covenant you made with your wife and God? And maybe God had nothing to do with it. Maybe you've been secular your whole life. But anyway, let me go back. What it takes to be a great teammate. And showing them also by example that work is a big part of all of our lives. Tom Brady's lost. What is he, 47, 48 years?
Yeah, that one there, Jersey. He just, we've already went at length, but this one here, this part, I think we hit the nail right in the head, like from the jump. He's really just trying to justify his actions, and it's like he says there in the one part, you can have it both, and like almost saying that it's your golf career is just as equal as being a father, And I just it's just crazy the mindset. It's so secular, like Jason's saying. And right off the bat, he'd rather be a better father than a good golfer. He'd rather be a good father and a husband than a good golfer. And he said, and my question is, why are those mutually exclusive? How about after that, instead of in my question, it should have been, hey, great job. You have your priorities straight. I wish I'd have did that back when I played 10 years ago. Because look where it got me. And
Well,
I just don't. Tom Brady strikes me as this one. I wrote this down earlier. If you remove the accolades, if you remove who he is, when people see Tom Brady, they view him as the Super Bowl winning quarterback, superstar, world famous. If you remove all of that and he's just Tom that nobody knew, who would he really be?
right. Here's what I would ask Tom. Hey, Tom, is there anybody that knows you that would say, everybody says you're the best quarterback ever? Is there anybody that says you're the best dad they ever met? You know what I mean? That's what it is. I'll go back to Dan. Dan's a tremendous father, and I'm not saying it because he's watching it, but he is. I know the man inside out, and we've had so many conversations. You know, all the years we've worked together, every night, late nights, 16-hour days. You know, living through that guilt together, talking about our kids. You know, I know what his kids mean to him, and his wife, and so I can honestly say Dan is one of the best fathers I've ever met, and so
One of the best friends you'll ever meet, too.
yes, very loyal and very hardworking, and you know pursues excellence in what he does. But you know he made that transition 6 years ago. He made that decision that I'm going to put my household first. And he'd be the first to tell you it's probably the happiest he's ever been in his life. And he put his household first, and his profession went to the highest level. He went to the highest level he's ever been in his profession. And so uh, it just shows you when your priorities in order, everything follows with it. So, you know, and any man can be a good provider, you know,
Mhm.
but are you a good father? You know, and some guys do the best job they can. You know, my father, I'll share with anyone. My father was a tremendous provider. He was the hardest working man I've ever seen in my life. My father had a massive stroke when he was 41 years old. Was half paralyzed. I got to the emergency room at 1:30 in the morning, and he was half paralyzed in the emergency room, and he knew it. And he looked like hell, and his head was obviously killing him. And all he kept saying was, "Joe, I can't work. Joe, I can't work. Joe, I can't work." Because all in his mind, I can't provide. I can't provide. I can't provide. And so, uh, you know, but I'm I live through it daily. You know, there's so much time I never got to have with my dad. He worked so much. Um, Went to work full time when he was 13 years old. Took care of 8 brothers and sisters. His parents were divorced. His father died. My grandfather died. I never met him. He died when he was 39 years old. Uh, Tough background. Uh, you know, he was 17 when he married my mom. She was 14. Another tough background. Horrible background she came from. Basically got married so they could get out of their households. Had kids early. So my dad was just living like a 40-year-old man when he was a teenager. And he did the best he knew how. And, you know, and he was never home. You know, there was some here. I do have a lot of memories, you know, going to Cedar Point, you know, him coming out, building igloos with us, playing football, you know, but it wasn't like you and I were, you know what I mean? He did the best he knew how, and I'll never put him down for it. But I have maybe a year and a half of a real how a father-son relationship was with my dad. And that was when I was my senior year in high school. And so, but going back to that, my dad said to me, before he passed. Some point, I don't remember exactly what it was. He passed in 09, but he said to me, "Don't do what I did. Don't do what I did. Go on vacations, be around your family, be home more. Don't do what I did." And so, there's, like I said, I can't say it enough. There's no such thing as enough time with your family. I mean, I dream of the day where I'm not controlled by having to work. So I know that's just society we live in, but I want to get to that point. I just can't imagine having millions of dollars and just putting my family second. Just chasing my legacy. What the hell's his legacy? What is his legacy of a man? Of being a man. Being a man is taking care of your wife and your kids, and then being a good friend and a great friend and a great son. And it's not has nothing to do with money and status. I know great people to make 35 grand a year, that have made that for 30 years. I've met people they make a wage, but they're great people. They're great human beings, and they love people and they serve others. So that's what they do. They serve others. Maybe that's the difference. Now that I say that, Tom Brady did Tom Brady really live a life of serving others? Did he just serve himself? There's no happiness in that. There's no gratitude, and there's nothing. And maybe that's why he's writing these letters, because he's still empty inside. He's got 7 Super Bowls. He's the greatest quarterback ever. Maybe he's kind of almost Jordan-esque. But is he really empty? Sounds like he is. So he can keep all that, man. I'm not empty inside. My life is fulfilling, and I'm constantly thinking of new ways and how I can serve more and help people more, because that's where happiness is. It's not in money. It's not in any of that bullshit. It's not in assets. It's in helping others. And truthfully, Joseph, you know this. Probably the greatest man to walk this earth in the last 100 years. Billy Graham said, "Wealth is in what you can live without, not what you have." Think about that. It's in what you can live without.
Mm-hmm.
That's where it's at. And I'm telling you, the profession I'm in, people, I meet every day just low wage earners, high wage earners, wealthy people, nonstop. If I had to put them all in buckets, who's the happiest? It says low wage earners.
Yeah.
They're just truly happy. I have just seen some miserable, and I know some, and I've met a lot of them that are very happy people that have done really well for themselves. But if I had to put them in buckets, happy people, those lower wage earners, or those people that just live a modest life, they're going to be a lot more happier people in those buckets.
And that's been a lot of my message on this show, which because you helped me with a lot of my stuff. We said talk about ideas, especially when I first started this show, and I was talking a lot more about before the sports side of it really took off. A lot of what I went through and my experiences. You shared now as a family, and Mom came on here before and shared it. Julie's talked on here, and kind of what we all went through. But that's what that taught me. All I had was a bike and a mile radius from my house. And for years, that's all I needed. I still had a pretty happy life most days. I mean, I was going through a lot of hell some days, and it was depressing at times. But you came home a lot of those days. I was still excited about the game that night. I was still cooking dinner for us for the game, or we were all together as a family. We were a lot happier in those years than we were prior to that. We were doing everything. I was at a prestigious high school in the area. I was academically prestigious. I was, playing all these sports. You're going to work, and you're working all these hours, and Mom's working, and Julia's going to school and playing sports. We were doing all these things, but we were never together. And then we were really around each other. We never had much time around each other. We weren't fulfilling all the important things in life.
Right. And we weren't happy. Well, we were happy, but not like we should. Not like we are now.
No. And there wasn't that pursuit of holiness like Jason talked about.
Right.
And when your values are correct, you have that pursuit of holiness, which really there's nothing more important in life is that pursuit, and also sharing that to help others get on that pursuit. And so, but going through that, you can use my life as an example. Anybody listen? I being 20 years old, 19, 20 years old, all your friends are in college and making money or getting married or dating people. I'm at home still, didn't have my license, didn't I mean, I had my own little company going for me in the in the local neighborhood, and I was just busting my balls doing that. But you literally learn real fast though that you don't really need a whole lot, because I was in a position where that's all I had. So it was either, it's kind of like the old saying, adapt or die. You know what I mean? Like either this is where you are, this is where God has you, or you can let it keep eating you inside and destroy you. And that was my mentality through all that, because you start to learn real fast. And we learned as a family, you guys helped me. They're like, hey, you don't really need a whole lot. But then you also realize too, when you look out in the outside world, I've noticed this in the last 3 years being back out. Since I came out in that first video, that was like really my first big step coming back into the world again, is you kind of see where a lot of people are now, and how the people that chase the other way, where they are. It's like, they didn't, they don't feel, they still feel empty the same way they did before they started, chasing a lot of those secular worldly
Right.
things. And that's why I say on this show all the time, you cannot let social media run your life, because you can't let TikTok, you can't let all this stuff people chase nowadays, especially my age group in particular. We've been so brainwashed with the phone because we grew up in it and all the music. We look at all the monetary things first. Even when we look at, let's say for somebody you're looking to date somebody or whatever, you look at what they have in the outer appearance first, and what they have, what can they give you, rather than what can they give you from what's their heart
Yeah.
like, what's their
Yeah.
soul like, are we aligned in a lot of things, do we think correctly on a lot of things, like that what's most important, especially if this is somebody you settle down with, have a kid with one day, how are we can we raise a kid together? That's very important. But I know a lot of people that, not to get a little weird, but how Jason always says, a lot of people, a lot of guys in particular, think with their small head first before not their big head, and they make foolish decisions, and they continue going down that path because their mind is so full with filth from the world, from the outside, and it poisons everything in your life.
Yeah. I mean, well, here, that's a tough thing. I mean, especially when you're a young man. I mean, those hormones are raging.
Well, yeah, no, I get all
But,
that. No, I get all that, but I'm saying, where's your focus?
no, right.
That's my whole
So,
point. Is there's a lot of people
well,
they
again,
don't they'd rather focus on the other things because they really have more of the Tom Brady mindset.
that goes back to the lack of fathers. Fathers not there that are in good mindset, and then to teach their kids and to lead their, you know what I mean, and to lead their homes, and it's just divorce. But and I think divorce happens because men have chosen not be men and not fulfill their roles in the household, and that's my belief. And I don't see. Here, your mom works. I'm not one of those people that thinks women should just be home. I don't believe that at all. I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman that chooses to be home and to take care of her home. I think that's just as commendable, or it's probably even more important. It's a tough thing. It's a very tough thing. I know there's plenty of women, I'm sure, and your mom was one of them before Julia got into school full time, that it killed her to just be home because we didn't want to put you guys in daycare. She used to tell me, God, I need to be out there contributing. I miss interacting with people, and that's a tough thing to sit home every day, and not be able to get out and interact with your peers and contribute into society. So I don't think, number one, I don't think there's enough recognition for that, but I also don't think there's anything wrong with a woman that works. Not at all. Not at all. But I think there's a lot of men. I think there's a lot of women who are sit and work 1 or 2 or 3 jobs, or even single moms, because the husband was too much of a deadbeat or coward to fulfill his role, to do what he was supposed to do. So, and there's lots of them that say, "Well, here, man, I don't really care. My wife makes all. I'm not gonna worry." I mean, I guess if you think that's what's best for your house, but I just believe that we are made in a way we're wired. We have to be out contributing, and happiness in life is in servanthood. It's not an income. It's not in your home. How does your home look on social media? Your cars, your vacations that you constantly post. It's not where happiness is.
And that was
Happiness is in helping other people.
Yeah.
That's true fulfillment in life, is helping other people. And Tom Brady, he should. It would be great if he had enough humility to where, you take your shortcomings in life and you use your shortcomings to help other people. You have empathy for other people when they're down, and you share your shortcomings, or the things that went wrong in your life, or your tough stretches in life, and it allows them to understand that it's okay. It happens in life. Sometimes we get curveballs, and we gotta adjust to them, and it makes them know that they're not alone. And there's always, after the darkest nights, a brighter day. You know what I mean? And so, you got to just power through it and have belief and not feel bad for yourself first and foremost. Not play the victim. Don't be a victim. Accept the hand that's given to you. Wake up every day. I'm breathing. I have breath in my lungs. I tell you that all the time. I wake up every morning. I got breath in my lungs, and it's even greater if it's sunny outside. People say to me all the day, "How's it going today?" So I'm breathing and it's sunny. What else could I ask for? I can get up and I can contribute, and I can go help people, and I can at the same time earn a living to take care of my family. What else could I ask for? So, and there's a lot of things I'm not. I can tell you one thing I am. I'm happy. I'm very happy, and I sleep damn good at night. I have peace. I'm very peaceful. I have peace in my life. I don't have a relationship out of order, and I cherish my relationships with people. I don't have a relationship out of order, and if I have one that starts to fall out of order, I try to fix it as quick as possible. And because it's the most important thing in my life is my relationships with people. So, and hopefully, like I said, there's a lot of things I'm not. I wish I was, or maybe could be, but I can tell you one thing: I'm happy. I'm happy. So anybody knows me, they know I'm happy, and I got my moments. I'm known. I can go 0 to 100 real fast, but the intent's always good. But people know me; they know I'm happy, and but happiness came when I realized I love people, and I just love to help serve others and help people. And the more and more you do that, and the more and more you chase that, everything else comes with it. Everything else you could ever want in life comes with it, and you're happy. You're at peace. So can't say it enough.
But yeah, and that was my whole point when I was saying a little bit ago, but you expanded on it in a great way. What's I say about your focus? If your focus, especially a younger person, I'm talking people around my age, especially if your focus is on what that's telling you, the device or whatever, people, the pressure from the outside world, people that secular mindset, like Jason was referring to, you're going to have a me mentality. And Tom Brady's a prime example of a me mentality. And look where that gets you. Yeah, you can have millions of dollars and have 7 Super Bowl rings, but your home's broken. I don't know Tom Brady, but it seems like somebody who's kind of internally a little bankrupt and a little, trying to find validation for what he did because he doesn't really feel good about some of his decisions he made. And he has to live with that every single day when he wakes up and he goes to bed at night and he looks around. And I know Shaq mentioned that too. Shaq was a guy during his career was all in on his career, and Shaq said he made a lot of mistakes and ruined his family, and Shaq said now he sits in his house at night and he can't sleep because it's so empty. He mentioned this on the Pivot podcast. How he goes, I sit there all night and it'll be 1 a.m., 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., and he'll go to bed at 6 a.m. and get up at 12 or 1. And because he said he can't sleep because he said the house, there used to be kids running around, laughing, hugging. My wife comes home. How you doing? You know what I mean? And he goes, now I come home and it's just, I got this big house and it's empty. And I'm Shaq. I'm a global name. Everybody knows Shaq. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so, but he's somebody who I give him credit. He's somebody who at least had awareness and shared it publicly. Hey, these are my shortcomings. Don't do what I did.
Yeah, that's all he can do, and that's all he can do. And when I couldn't stand Shaq when he was young in his career. He was such an asshole and a hothead, and always talking trash. But the latter years of his playing career, I like Shaq, and I love Shaq now because he gets up there and he's human, and he shares his shortcomings, and he's honest about it. You know what I mean? And that's what people need to hear.
And like you said earlier, we all make mistakes.
Yeah.
Everybody makes mistakes, especially when you're younger. But you don't want to stay in that. You don't want to justify staying in that lane. You know what I mean? And that was my whole point earlier too. Like, and you were saying, is you don't want to justify. You can't sit and justify your own wrongdoings because you're your worst own enemy, and you become like what Tom Brady is right now.
Well, when Shaq gets up and says that, he's helping people. He's helping other people who are watching him. They're saying, my gosh, this guy's worth hundreds of, like close to $1 billion. He owns so many companies. I mean, Shaq is an absolute icon. Yeah, I mean, he is. But look what he's saying. At least he's truthful about it. You know what I mean?
And
at
that
least
resonates with a kid in Ohio like myself.
Yeah.
25, because I don't know. I have goals in life where I'm going to be in where I would like to be down the road, God willing, wherever God takes me. But to hear somebody like that with that much humility where he's been, it's like, okay, you know what? Maybe this is the route to take instead. You know what I mean? It's like take a guy like Kwame Brown, for instance, who people said he was a bust for 20 years, and because his basketball career didn't pan out people wanted. And you look at the people that have attacked him over and over and over, especially in the last 4 years. Not going to name any names. If you go look at the news this week, you guys know what I'm talking about. What's going on with those guys?
But here,
losing millions of dollars for a 20-year-old college student, OnlyFans, and somebody else who running a gambling operation, and now with kids, one of them going to college, might be spending might be spending time in behind bars, and is online joking about it. But he's the boss. Don't be like him because his basketball career. Sponsor us, Liquid Death. Please, but we love a sponsorship. By the way, we're both. But you look at he's a bust because his career didn't pan out in basketball, even though he still made millions of dollars and lives a pretty peaceful life.
One thing I'll say, because my battery's low now, it's on 5, but Tom Brady must not really have any peace in his life because he knows who he is professionally, but to immediately come out when a guy like Scottie Scheffler, Scottie Scheffler's maybe arguably the best golfer in the world right now, but he is nowhere near it in the realm of Tom Brady. But to immediately come out and write some letter, he's bothered so much by it.
Yeah.
That just shows you how little peace he has. And you can't band-aid it with money, more accolades. You can't band-aid it. You can't escape your God-given roles in life that you're what you're supposed to do, and that is to take care, is to be the best husband, father. You can't escape it. You can't escape. You can't not do that job and not have guilt. And if you don't have guilt, that's a serious issue. Then you're really in trouble. You know what I mean? So
I do. I do, because you know your phone. I got a couple comments I got to read real quick, and then
Mhm.
I do have. We'll finish up the Whitlock. He said, "Joe, you're one of the best fathers and husbands I know, and you're one of the few in our profession who helped me develop into both of those aspects of my life. So I am flattered and humbled to always hear those words from you. I look at your family as an extension of my own, and always will. Sleep well every night, knowing that you are an MVP and champion in life as well. Love you, buddy." Um,
So I love you too, dude. Thank you.
Mike said, "Words of wisdom. My dad wasn't perfect. Sometimes he was a flat out bad father, but I always say that I wish I could have been. I wish I would have could have had more. Excuse me. I wish I could have had more time with him, flaws and all."
All right.
Dan said it. "I never got the opportunity to meet your father, but I feel like I know him through the man he raised and molded with amazing work ethic and pride. I'm sure he is incredibly proud of the man, father, and husband you are today. The Lamtman namesake burns strong through you and Joseph and all the future ones to come. Truly a Hall of Famer. No bust or rings required." Thank you, Dan. But shout out to Dan and shout out to Mike. We'll finish up here with this is some of the I want to show these just because so it gives full context. Here's the next couple pieces of Brady's letter.
Of jerking off. Satisfaction. Let me just as a letter to Scottie Scheffler or advice to men about Scottie Scheffler. I've come to understand two things about the pursuit of personal satisfaction. Let me translate what he just said there. I've come to understand two things about the pursuit of pleasuring myself, of jerking off. I've come to understand the meaning of that. Personal satisfaction and professional achievement with my years of perspective. Yes, I've reached the grand old age of 47 or 48 or whatever he is, and I've realized there's nothing more important than masturbation and pleasuring myself. That's what Tom Brady's saying. I'm sorry, this is going to hurt a lot of y'all's feelings. You're Tom Brady groupies. You like him, you don't, but I'm just keeping it real. He continues, there is no one aspect of life that is so all-encompassing that it will provide the satisfaction you are looking for. And two, whatever level of satisfaction you are trying to achieve with your professional accomplishments, it will almost never come in the moment. And it will sometimes take years before you find full appreciation and gratitude for it. The point is, it's never about the professional accomplishment itself. It's about the pursuit of that accomplishment. Let me stop. I've made football and Super Bowl rings and being the greatest quarterback of all time. I've made it an idol, and I'm in pursuit. I was in pursuit of that. And I chose that pursuit over my family. And that's why I have 2 baby mamas now, and I live in a home outside of my kids. And that's why there's some jiu-jitsu trainer banging my ex-wife. I'm just keeping it real with y'all. This is the problem with modern men and these secular idols that we put up. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what they don't know. And they're so full of arrogance because of the money they've been given and the fawning that they deal with. They don't even know how clueless they are. And Tom Brady is completely clueless. And I'll be hated and vilified for pointing this out. Let me continue. It's not about whatever satisfaction you're looking for. It's the pursuit of that satisfaction.
My phone's about to die.
See, it's not about the porn that you're watching. It's about the pursuit of that orgasm that porn will give me. I'm into personal satisfaction. I'm into pleasuring myself, and I don't care if my kids get hurt by it. I don't, because I'm at the top of my priority list. This is the problem with America. Men have put themselves at the top of the priority list. There's nothing greater they can serve than themselves. And I'm here to tell you, and I'm sorry for wagging a finger and being preachy about it, and I'm sorry for those of you that are secular, for those of you, Whitlock, he's a Christian nut job, he's a Jesus freak. I'm just trying to warn you, don't make the stupid mistake that I've made. Don't make the stupid mistake Tom Brady's made. I'm just trying to keep it real with you. This man has all the money in the world.
All right, so he goes on and shares a lot of great points there. But I'll finish reading the Brady letter here too. The point is, it's never been about the professional accomplishment itself. It's about the pursuit of that accomplishment. It's not about whatever satisfaction you're looking for. It's the pursuit of that satisfaction in whatever area of your life has become the priority in that moment. Don't misunderstand. When you finally achieve something you want, you will have a moment of euphoria or a glimpse into this joy you dreamed of having, but very quickly you realize that the sun will come up the next day and you're right back to living life filled with priorities and responsibilities that need to be attended to. And so I heard that last part there, Jersey, and it just sounds like somebody. I don't know if Jersey's still here, and I have phone might have died. But I hear that last part. Then I'll finish this up myself. I heard that last part there from Tom Brady, and it just sounds like somebody. Again, listen to what he says there. You're right back up the next day, back living a life filled with priorities and responsibility that need to be attended to. And I read this second part here. I just feel like I'm hearing somebody in Tom Brady who truly isn't satisfied deep down inside because he's never had true fulfillment deep down inside. Those 7 Super Bowl rings didn't truly satisfy him. All the money he made truly didn't satisfy him. All the things he has available to him, even now, I'm sure as a single man, don't satisfy him. And so I just feel like Tom's really in this letter just keeps sharing how he's really feeling on the inside, down inside. It's almost like he has some bit of envy towards Scottie Scheffler. And because Scottie Scheffler's somebody who's at the top of the mountain in his profession, and really it's just kind of like whatever about the profession. I have family, and I have things that are more important in life. Content with myself deep down inside, that's what's more important to him. But Tom though just keeps striking, coming across as somebody who just is not fulfilled and not content deep down inside, even though he's universally, or a lot of people say he's the GOAT, the greatest of all time in football, and the most masculine sport possible, but he's still not satisfied. So let's finish here with Jason, then I'll wrap this up.
He's got all the accomplishments professionally in the world, and he's an idiot and clueless and can't deal with the fact that he blew up his marriage, ruined his family, his kids don't like him nearly as much, and he's now trying to offer advice to Scottie Scheffler. Hey, Scottie, do what I did. When I was 27, I went all in on this football thing, and I've blown up my personal life into things that are most important, that are really should be at the top of my priority list. Scottie, do what I did.
Yeah, that's kind of what I just reiterated. So here's the last part of the excerpt here that Whitlock reads, and we'll have him read this, and then we'll wrap it up. Right here. All right. So this is the last part.
Tom Brady. Where did I leave off? Whatever area of life has become the priority in that moment, don't misunderstand. When you finally achieve something you want, you will have a moment of euphoria or a glimpse into this joy you dreamed of having. But very quickly you realize the sun will come up the next day and you're right back to living a life filled with priorities and responsibilities that need to be attended to. Tom Brady's an idiot. And I used to be an idiot. I still am an idiot. And so you'll hear that as some like vicious attack. I'm really just trying to smack some sense into Tom Brady. Bro, you ain't got it figured out. Quit writing newsletters to Giselle while you're pretending you're writing to some other audience and using Scottie Scheffler to work out the mistakes you made. Take it to God. Humble yourself, fall to your knees, surrender, take it to God. Get your priorities in order. Scottie Scheffler has his in order, and we need to be supporting Scottie Scheffler in his pursuit of holiness, not trying to advise him, hey man, go all in on golf and make yourself the number one priority in your life. That's not what men do. That's not what made America great. That's not why we have all this freedom. We had young people. I mean, these founding fathers were teenagers and in their early 20s. They risked it all for us to have this freedom and these opportunities that we have. They didn't prioritize themselves. They prioritized the country and building a country that was for a righteous, moral, religious people. And Tom Brady's pissing on it because he's an idiot. TJ Moe.
And shout out to Jason. Great job as always. But I feel like a lot of what he said there too is kind of what I was. That's when I keep reading this stuff from Tom Brady. It reminds me of the point I was making earlier. Why I came across the point. If you remove all the accolades, you remove everything he has. Tom Brady has that access anywhere he goes because he's Tom Brady. But if you remove all that, who do you really have? Who's Tom? Who's the actual Tom Brady? And I think a lot of people will probably reading this letter to see who kind of the real Tom Brady is. And somebody like Scottie Scheffler, who's a man and somebody who has real conviction in what he believes, set Brady off. I mean, for somebody to sit, like Jersey said earlier, shout out to Jersey, he was unbelievable tonight. Probably He's always got great work when he comes up here, but that was phenomenal. We'll have more of that jersey coming pretty soon. Trust me. Too bad his phone died, but I just can't get it. Why would Tom Brady think it's okay? Hey, let me take Scottie Scheffler's moment and let me go insert myself into it. Right. And let me go write this long letter justifying why I did things the way I did. And like Jason said, Scottie, you need to prioritize golf more, not your family. I mean, how arrogant and stupid, like Jason said, how stupid does that sound? And there's a lot of these people we idol worship, these celebrities, these athletes we put up on pedestals, that if you really were around a lot of these people, and I've been around some of them and know some of their personal lives from people that are in their family, they're not great. They're not people you'd want to they're not people that should be role models for any kid or for anybody for that matter. And there are some great ones, but a lot of these people, like Jason said, they've been so put up on a pedestal because they had a God-given athletic ability or they were successful in something. And now all of a sudden they walk on water and they do no wrong. And they're really no different than you and I. And actually, a lot of, like my dad said earlier, take somebody like Dan, he's much more accomplished in life than Tom Brady. You don't need, it doesn't matter if he has 7 Super Bowl rings or played in the NFL or is a multi-millionaire. That doesn't mean anything. And so it doesn't matter. And anybody out there who, and I say this to a lot of people, there's a lot of people out there that are trying to do the right thing in life. And maybe they feel like, they're not getting the rewards they want, or maybe they feel like, times have been tough. Maybe a father trying to help his family. Don't give up. Always keep going and always stay positive. Always focus on the things you have that you shouldn't take for granted. The things that you really, money, nothing in this world can buy. A family, right? And stability at home, being content inside. All the things Jersey pointed out earlier. Stay focused on that. And that's why you always constantly hear me talk about social media and the phone as an example, is because I keep saying it. I see so many people, especially my age, because we grew up in this stuff, our focus is in the wrong direction. And I see a lot of people I know that I love dearly. Their focus is in that direction, and they're just making bad decision after bad decision because they're trying to justify their wrongdoings, maybe some poor choice they made, which happens. Like, we're all human, but they stay in that lane. And it's a lot easier to stay in that lane nowadays because there's not much good influence. Like the stuff you heard Jersey saying tonight on this show, that's not something you're going to hear every day in society. It's not something that's promoted in society. That's why. All the other things are promoted in society nowadays. Hey, chase this. Chase your career first. Hey, chase your pleasure first. Hey, chase the bag. Everything's about chasing the bag and chasing likes and retweets or whatever it is now. Trying to get as many views as possible on TikTok and all this and that. And yeah, people, you can look at me and what I'm doing here in the show. Yeah, we're trying to grow this, and we want, obviously numbers are important for what we do, but it starts with our content, because a lot of what we say, we haven't given up on this, and I haven't given up, and I never will, because it's what I truly like to do. It's for the love of what I do, because it's helped other people, and it's helped me tremendously in my life. I'm a totally different person I was when I came up here 3 years ago and started doing this. And some of the responses I've gotten privately from people I know personally in my life, I could think of somebody right now who's getting married at the end of the month. Him and his mom gave me some of the best compliments I've ever received in my life. And I don't think that's not me; it's the Lord. I just view it as God working through me, because that's what it is. But I mean, the comments I've gotten from people and the reaction for just the impact on this show reiterated to me, God was speaking to me. Okay, keep doing what you're doing. Don't give up. Don't look at the numbers, right? Don't look at if one shows here or there. Don't get caught up in that stuff. Just stay focused on the main thing, and we'll just see where. And I'll take you where you need to go. And let me tell you something. There's great contentment and great peace, and just a settlement when you think that way. And I'll be honest, times where I still get anxious or get off balance or feel down or whatever. It's when I lose, my focus goes in the other direction because I get caught up in the other things. It's very easy to do. That's why I said earlier, the stuff I'm pointing out people, I fall short of it just as well. It's like what Jason was saying when he said Tom Brady's an idiot. He said, I'm an idiot sometimes too. But you have to have a realness and a self-aware. You have to have a real reality check with yourself and say, you know what? It's like when I said earlier, I said, I got to look at myself in the mirror all the time and be like, hey, Jess, you know what? Yeah, that's tempting over there. Maybe, it's everybody's saying you should go do this, do that, but I've come too far. It's probably not good for me to go down that road at this point, and maybe never, right? And you have to kind of be honest with yourself. You have to resist things. A lot of becoming to get where like Scottie Scheffler's been in life, it takes a lot of sacrifice with personal desires, sacrifice for others. Sacrifice is key and going far in life for success. And real success is the things Jersey pointed out earlier, right? You have to have sacrifice. Just like Christ sacrificed his life on the cross, right? For you and for me. So that we could have a second chance in life. And so that's what it is. Sacrifice. Sacrifice and self-discipline are two very key things. And a lot of times self-discipline is not like with Tom Brady being a psychopath about your career. It's about how can I spend more time? Like you heard what Jersey said earlier, the profession he used to be, or the profession he's in, where he used to be. I had to leave that job, and how Dan did too, to choose my family first. That's a real self-awareness and a sacrifice for your family because it's the best for your family. And so, but it's like that for anything in life. You know what I mean? For anything in life, am I doing things to help and serve others? There's no greater satisfaction. Am I doing something that's, making me the best, whether it's husband, wife, sibling, child, coworker, friend? Am I being the best in those areas that I can be? You know what I mean? Serving others. That's the top of the pyramid. The Lord and then that. And so, shout out to Scottie Scheffler. It's nice to see an athlete out there who has that real self-awareness like that. Because a lot of these guys, and I'm around I'm around a lot of these guys nowadays in the high school level now, even. And I'm just going to the high school level, even in college. College now, these guys get paid. And that's okay. I don't have a problem with guys getting paid, but I think a lot of it's kind of gone a little too far. And I think a lot of these high schoolers now, they go to certain schools because they feel like if they put that brand on, that, they walk on water. And I was talking to a coach last week, a good friend of mine who coaches right now at the high school level, just came from college to the high school level, saying the same exact thing. And how he's having he cannot believe the difference in 10 years from when we graduated to the athletes now. And how sometimes it's hard these kids, they think they know it all. And we were all like that as kids. We all thought we knew it all, in your high school and stuff. But just the mindset now is it's the me mentality. I have this, I wear this brand. I did this. I have this logo on my chest and I go out there and play for this team and I'm going to this university on a full ride scholarship. But these kids have no idea what it takes the sacrifice it takes to go win a championship, which is the goal, right? It's more about the me first than the team. And a lot of these coaches that have experience and know what they're talking about, like my buddy just came from college and knows what these colleges are looking for in kids. And especially nowadays, a lot of people don't know scholarships. If you're a high school athlete, the scholarships are shrinking. There's schools that went from 24 scholarships last year to 16. And so this is what he pointed out to me. He goes, here, I try to tell these kids, I know what it's going to take to get there because I just came from there. He also did it himself and was a state champion, and made it to that level and played and coached in that level. And a lot of these kids, they think they know it all. They don't want to listen. These kids nowadays have this me mentality because they sit and stare at the phone all day and they don't want to listen to what somebody can help them get there. And they don't they don't realize either what he's telling me, that he talks to a lot of these recruits still. Like he's going to give an honest report. He's not going to lie. He's not going to ruin his reputation to help them if they don't want to be helped. He's trying to help them, but they don't want the help. You know what I mean? And that's just a small example. But I'm not just using that as an example. We're grooming them now at the high school level. Imagine when these kids now, if they make it to the NFL or whatever, they already have that mentality now. What are they going to be like 5-10 years from now? You're going to have a lot of Tom Brady's in life or on steroids. That to me is something that we should all be, especially as men or just leaders, and New Jersey would say fathers, we should all be concerned about, because that mentality can really be destructive. I mean, we need more Scottie Schefflers and less Tom Brady's. So, and prayers to Tom Brady. I hope Tom Brady finds contentment. It's like, this isn't a diss on Tom Brady or an attack on Tom Brady or anything, but you know, hopefully find some self-awareness so somebody can get to him. Maybe this will be it. Maybe Scottie Scheffler can be the guy. Maybe they talked on the phone privately. Maybe Scottie Scheffler shared some real wisdom with Tom Brady that really helped him maybe see things a little bit differently and wake up, like Jason was saying. But but I hope more younger athletes, and that's why I was bringing up the example with the high schoolers, because I talked to my buddy last week. It's just like, man, he just can't believe just some of these guys. They just do not want to listen. Like, just the mentality nowadays, because it's been promoted. If you don't have this mentality nowadays, it's a lot of these kids how to think amongst each other. You're not cool. You're not it. Like, you're not. And any high schooler out there, anybody out there that's around that, don't believe that crap. The best people, the most successful people I ever saw were the people that learn from others. Learn from other people that have been there. I learned from a lot of people in this profession. I've talked to a guy before a couple times privately that was just on the screen, right? And then followed him and watched how he does a lot of things. Learn from him. Learn from these people. Take the knowledge, right? And listen to a guy like Scottie Scheffler. Take that knowledge. Like Jersey said earlier, look at the example he's leaving for younger men. That's great for people like myself, who are heading that direction where Scottie Scheffler is in his personal life one day. And so with having a family and, all that stuff. So I don't know. Shout out to Scottie Scheffler. I can't say it enough. And shout out to Jason Whitlock, and shout out to Jersey. Jersey was on fire tonight. I got to give a round of applause for Jersey. Shout out to Jersey, and shout out to all you guys. Shout out to Dan. Shout out to Mike. Shout out to Paramount, Tune In Sports, and Wally. Shout out to Wally. And if you're watching this on the playback, or please leave your comment what you thought about tonight's show. Obviously, this was a break from sports. We're going to get back to doing more content like this. So, like, subscribe, show that good stuff. Love all you guys. And I'll see you the next one. I'm out of here. Oh.